In a bid to clean up their image and to make sure that they calm the storm down, the government of Uganda had pre-planned something we all know very well, that they invested a lot of money to host the MTV Africa Music Awards, because they understood that after the elections, people will be up in the streets, will be up fighting for their victory and so on and so forth. So what they decided to do is to pay a hefty sum to the MTV to make sure that they host the Mama Awards in Uganda. Now, this was done a couple of years ago, of course, because they never anticipated that COVID would happen and so on and so forth. Also, they claimed that they they brought Mama Awards to Uganda because they wanted to boost tourism. It is said that the deal that the Uganda Tourism Board, right, signed with MTV is close to 5 million $5 million US dollars, over 5 million US dollars, in order to promote that, in order to promote Ugandan tourism and in order to bring these awards to Uganda so that the country's tourism can be boosted. Now, we all understand that, okay, fine, if you want to boost tourism, then what about the musicians themselves? What about boosting Uganda's music industry? The government of Uganda is not interested in boosting talent. It's not interested in creating their own talent that can actually go global and start influencing things here and there. They want to get talent that is already made and then bring it to the country to influence tourism. That is why you see a couple of years ago, they paid Kanye West and Kim Kardashian a hefty amount of money to come to Uganda to try to build up Uganda's image, to try to boost the tourism industry. But it failed. It actually flopped to the extent that these two guys never even posted about the country or never even told their followers to visit Uganda. Now, when that failed, they went on a new venture, which is to host these awards, the MTV Africa Music Awards, where they paid a lot of money still in order to boost tourism. But of course, it was to do that, but as well as making sure that they divert the people who had just come out of the election. Now, most of you have been seeing what has been going on when this MTV Base Africa actually announced the event, and they said that this gentleman known as DJ Khaled, that he would actually be doing what? That he would be hosting the event. Now, as you can see the picture there, DJ Khaled was announced as the host, and MTV Africa, on its Twitter, they said, honestly, been struggling to keep this a secret, and now I can finally scream it out loud for the world to hear. Cue the confetti. It's official. DJ Khaled will be hosting the 2021 MTV Mama on the 20th of February from the Pearl of Africa, Uganda. Hashtag, all those hashtags like you can see. Now, first of all, I have a problem with DJ Khaled's picture. The fact that he's donned in a military attire. In Uganda right now, if anyone sees anyone in a military attire, it is something to scare us very much. The fact that also if anyone speaks Swahili in Uganda, it is something that actually scares people today. You remember, we have gone back to the times whereby I remember my parents used to tell me that whenever you heard anyone speaking Swahili, you just knew that was an army man, an army officer, and nothing good was going to come out of that particular person. Especially if a person knows the local language, Luganda or English, and they decide to speak Swahili, it is to scare the people of Uganda. This has nothing to do with our brothers and sisters from Kenya and others who speak Swahili outside Uganda. But the problem is that these army men use a lot of Swahili, number one, in order to scare Ugandans, and also donned in these military attires. They also do it to scare Ugandans and beat up Ugandans. So the fact that DJ Khaled actually, they used his image wearing a military attire, wearing that sort of, thing to promote him that he is going to host the Mama Awards, I actually had a problem with that. because it is the military that is killing people, and you are posting a picture of someone wearing the same military attire to come and host the Mama Awards. And also, besides that, the government of Uganda also said that such attire should not be worn and all this kind of thing and blah, 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 blah. People have been being arrested for wearing berets and wearing attires that are close to something that looks like, a military attire. Anyway, putting all that aside, that doesn't matter. What matters is why I am so perturbed, because I thought MTV would actually cancel this entire event. I thought they would sit down, look into their terms and conditions, look into their CSR, corporate social responsibility, and then maybe decide that, you know what, I don't think that Uganda is the right environment to host such a big event. Look here, in Uganda as we speak, Bobby Wine, the reason he is called Bobby Wine, it is because he is a musician. That was his job before he joined politics and before he went to parliament and then ran for president. He was Bobby Wine, singing music that was touching the hearts of Ugandans. Today, Bobby Wine cannot sing. Over 150 concerts of his were cancelled by the government of Uganda. All his musicians, most of the people who compose Bobby Wine's music or who repeat or who do a remix of his music, they're arrested there and then. And this is where MTV is coming to host their so-called Mama Awards. Bobby Wine's family had to flee. DJ Khaled, put yourself in that position. If you have to get your family out of America, right, and then take them somewhere, maybe in Saudi Arabia or Dubai, I don't know where you come from, or Sudan, where you come from, okay, and you have to get your family out for their own safety, and the government of America gets you and puts you under house arrest and puts you under siege, and the courts of America decide that, you know what, DJ Khaled has the right, the security should leave his premises, and they still refuse. Put yourself in that position. Any musician that is taking part in this event, they should put themselves in that position. This system of musicians singing for dictators without looking at their own consciousness has to stop. If you're a musician and you do not understand that this is the line I'm not supposed to cross, then your career is going to be short-lived. We have seen most of these musicians singing for dictators and their children and going to birthday balls and things of that sort. The simplest things you can do for the people is to, as we come to your concert, as we listen to your music, as we enjoy your creativity, we expect you to stand with us in times like this. Now, most of these people will say, okay, I'm not into politics. For me, I'm just a musician. Well, you should understand that the same people who you are singing for, the same people who enjoy your music, they are the same people who are engaged in politics. They are the same people who choose leaders. They are the same people who are being killed. They are the same people who are being murdered. Now, if at all these people are murdered, do you think they will enjoy the music? If at all you don't stand up to your own fans, do you think, if you don't stand up for your own fans, do you think that you will have a career? Definitely not. So, MTV, music, television, and these artists that are taking part, you should understand that in Uganda, there is no room for music that is critical about the government. There is no room for creativity. It is the government of Uganda that has to create its own lyrics, and you have to sing and you have to sing those particular lyrics. Bobby Wine's music, his concerts, 150 concerts have been cancelled. He's not being allowed. His music is not allowed on any television. Is not allowed on any radio station. Is not even allowed on anyone's mobile phone. If you're caught listening to Bobby Wine's music in Uganda, you are bound to be put on a truck and taken away by Museveni's secret police. That is what is happening. A year ago, a gentleman known as Moses Kalinda, also known as Ziggy Wine, was arrested by the government of Uganda. His eyes were gouged out, his 2 fingers were cut off, and his body burnt. Afterwards, the police got his body and dumped it in Mulago Hospital. The gentleman spent 2 weeks fighting for his life. In the end, he died. The police denied, but there was evidence, overwhelming evidence, that these people had got this guy. He was a very normal guy, a very humble guy, a very lovely guy, who could not even hurt a fly. But they gouged his eyes out because he was singing with Bobby Wine, Ziggy Wine. His eyes were gouged out. 2 fingers cut off, and his body burnt, and then thrown in the hospital to go through a painful death. That is what they do to musicians in Uganda. As we speak today, Bobby Wine's backup artist, a gentleman known as Ali Bokane, also known as Nubian Lee, as we speak right now, he has been in prison for now. I think it's coming to 5 weeks. He has a newborn baby. His wife just gave birth a couple of months ago. He has 3 children and one wife and a wife. No one is providing for them. No one is caring for them. All they're in prison. This is the gentleman that Bobby Wine sings with whenever you see Bobby Wine's music. I don't know why these musicians do not go and look and see. Okay? He's in prison as we speak today. The government of Uganda came out and put planted guns on him and bullets. You know what they did, DJ Khalid? Instead of taking the gentleman to a civilian court, he was taken to the court martial. The courts of Uganda said that these people should be given bail. You know what, the gentleman you're going to play for whatever the awards, MTV, I'm speaking to MTV now, as well as these people. Do you know what they did? The court said that these people should be released. You know what they did? On rallies, they actually came, the military, they came, arrested them again and took them to the court martial and made up new charges against them, that they were in possession of firearms and things of that sort. Bobby Wine's close friend, also a musician known as Ali Bokane, Selector Devi, who is a music producer, all these people have been arrested. Why? Because they support Bobby Wine. Put yourself in that position. It might come. It might not be today. But there is a time where you will look for fellow musicians to stand with you. Our fellow musicians in Uganda have refused. They even fear to associate themselves with Bobby Wine. They even fear to play Bobby Wine's music or say anything about Bobby Wine because they know that the government of Uganda is most likely to come after them. Is that freedom? Is that creativity? Can you be creative in such an environment? People can say that, okay, yeah, it's just like saying that you can be creative under a Hitler regime or a Stalin or a Mao or something of that sort. Creativity has no bounds. Someone should be able to create their own music as they think and as they like. We do not have that freedom in Uganda. And then you're bringing MTV Africa Music Awards. Where does Mama draw the line? Do they have any sort of corporate social responsibility? That next time I think we are going to see you singing for ISIS, okay? Because you have no corporate social responsibility, we are going to see these musicians singing for ISIS. We shall see them singing for Al-Qaeda. Okay, you shall see you singing for Boko Haram. We shall see you singing for any of these guys. Where do you draw the line that no, here, this is too much? Or is it just all about money? Is it just all about greed? That whoever can sign that check, we can sing for you, even if you're a dictator, regardless of how many people you have killed, regardless of how many musicians you have arrested. Now, if at all we were in Nazi days or we were in those days of the Nazi, would you still sing? Because look here, what I'm trying to explain here is that what happened during those times and those generations, it is happening even today in Uganda. People are being kidnapped. The other day, a 7-month-old baby was shot in the head by the government of Uganda. People are being arrested. Mothers are being taken away. People are becoming orphans. Women are becoming widows and things of that sort. You are not even allowed to hold Bobby Wine's poster, not even, let alone his image, let alone play his image, let alone play his music. Even saying the word Bobby Wine, free Bobby Wine, that one can get you in prison. And you can never appear before a judge. So what we ask for is this. We do not say that, okay, cancel your event and all this kind of thing. The event can still go on. Whatever you planned, MTV Africa Music Awards, whatever you have planned, it can still go on. What we are asking for, if you can, please raise your voice to all the musicians in the world that are being targeted by governments, that are being targeted by politicians. Because if you do not raise your voice, what is music without musicians? What are music awards without musicians? Because first of all, you need musicians that you have to nominate in order for the awards to be there. So if today it is Bobby Wine that is being harassed, tomorrow is Nubian Lee. The other day, Ziggy Wine's eyes were gouged out. Okay? It is going to go on. In previous times, the Fela Kutis were arrested, and so on and so forth. What we want you to do is, as you host these awards, as you nominate people, you should also protect musicians across the world. Because I, for one, if I was a musician, and you do not stand up to musicians who are being harassed by different governments in Africa, then you would rather not nominate me. Why would I need a Mama Award when people are being killed and suffering? I'm actually benefiting from that sort of tyranny. When people have no freedom to create their own songs that would qualify them to be in the award categories that you have. It does not make sense at all. In 2019 on New Year's Eve, a lady known as Yvonne Chaka Chaka, a South African lady, was supposed to headline a show at the Kabaka's palace. That the Kabaka is the king of Buganda. That is Buganda Kingdom. He always hosts an event known as Nkuka, the end of year event. So Chaka Chaka was the one who was going to be the headline artist for that particular show. Now, before Chaka Chaka came to Uganda, he had met Bobby Wine, and he said Bobby Wine is the next Mandela of Africa. The government of Uganda, of course, noted that. So the fact that Chaka Chaka was supposed to sing at this show, while she was at her hotel in her room at Pearl of Africa, Museveni's goons, the SFC, they came, arrested the lady, manhandled her, stole her wallet, stole her laptop, and put her on the next plane back to South Africa. Things had gotten so worse between Uganda and South Africa. Chaka Chaka had to come out on her Twitter and calm the tensions down. We all know that South Africa has been facing xenophobic attacks here and there. Now, if South Africans had heard that Ugandans had chased Yvonne Chaka Chaka, one of their icons, out of Uganda, of course, what would happen to the Ugandans living in South Africa? Things would not have been easy. So Chaka Chaka had to come out and calm the tensions and tell people, look here, I've not been deported, I've not been arrested, please, I'm safe, I'm well, everyone is calling, but I'm safe and well. But just imagine, how could you treat an African icon like that in such a manner? And MTV Africa doesn't say a word. MTV Best doesn't say a word. Mama Africa doesn't say a word. What they do is, no, we are waiting for Chaka Chaka to nominate her in the Mama Awards. We are waiting for these people to nominate them in the Mama Awards. You just kept quiet. Last year, two musicians, Nigerian, one known as Omare and the other known as Thames, they were invited in Uganda, given work permits, given visas. They were even advertised on billboards, as well as advertised on different social media platforms, because the event was sponsored by MTN. They were even advertised on radio stations and TVs, and everyone knew Omare and Thames are coming to sing. These were two Nigerian musicians. Now, when they came to sing, we all understand what happened. The government of Uganda, after the event was a success, and Omare and Thames actually had a full house. But then the government of Uganda, the police under the SFC, came out and arrested Omare and Thames that they were helping in the spread of COVID-19. Now, these are just people who have just been in the country for almost 1 day. Just imagine going to a country and you perform, you have everything in order. The promoters brought you and everything is in order. And then they tell you, look here, lad, you're under arrest for breaking the law and for flouting COVID-19 rules and regulations. These guys, these two Nigerian musicians were humiliated. They were humiliated by the Ugandan force. They were humiliated. They were put on shackles. And the Nigerians had to come out on Twitter and make a lot of noise. That is when they had to release them. In fact, Bobby Wine is one of the people who even provided his lawyers to go and make sure they represent Omare and Thames. But it had become into a diplomatic disaster between Nigeria as well as Uganda. And MTV Africa Music Awards, they come and host the event in Uganda. Well, good job. Thank you very much. Like, that is what we need, right? We do not need awards in Uganda. We do not need MTV whatever awards to come and, they make it party as usual when Ugandans are not free, when musicians are not free. You cannot do that. You can't do that. Musicians are not free and then you are hosting a musical award. Musicians are not free and then kudos to everyone who went out to DJ Khalid's Twitter account and made sure that you bombarded him with images of Museveni killing people, to the fact that he had to take down the post. The awards can still continue, but take them to a safer country. Because we as Ugandans, what we are going through right now, we do not need awards. What we are going through right now, we do not need these international musicians, the Drakes, the Beyoncés, for as long as they are not condemning, dictators, but for as long as they keep eating from their pockets, right? We don't need them. If they stand with their fans, they have a very big fan base in Africa. Leave alone the fact that they are musicians, but the fact that they have made it and the fact that this is their home. That is what attracts us to such musicians, because they have an African blood in them. But what makes you African when you're standing with people who are tormenting, harassing, and killing fellow Africans? Actually, they are even not killing fellow Africans, but they are killing musicians. That is one reason for you to stand up. So MTV Africa, whatever MTV base, there are so many countries. The good thing, it is a virtual event. Because whenever you get this event and put it in Uganda, some people have been saying, okay, the event is virtual, blah, blah, blah. No, whether it is virtual or physical, for as long as it is hosted in Uganda, it is legitimizing Museveni. That's all they are doing. This is a PR campaign. They are legitimizing. They want to legitimize Museveni. They want to say, oh, Uganda is now safe. Tourists, you can come. Of which tourists are not safe in Uganda at all. Trust me, they are not safe. And not safe from the people of Uganda. No, they are not safe from the government of Uganda. The soldiers, the military, and so on and so forth. So many events have been cancelled in the country, both virtual and physical. Embassies are warning their people not to come to the country, not to take in any sort of, anything in the country. And I'm not here. This is not a position I would like to be in. But this is the position that our government has made us come to. Because you cannot arrest a musician just because he composed a song, just because he's running against you for president, and then you arrest him and put him in prison and torture his supporters. It doesn't make sense. So, ladies and gentlemen, MTV Africa can take the event to South Africa. It's not too late, on Nigeria or even Kenya or even Tanzania. No, not Tanzania. Kenya or South Africa or Nigeria and those other countries. They can look. I mean, you cannot fail to get a country where you can put the events, or Botswana or somewhere there, since it is virtual. It's not too late. But we need to know, where does number one, MTV draw the line, as well as the musicians that were nominated. Number two, do they have any sort of corporate social responsibility? Because if you have any sort of corporate social responsibility, I don't think Uganda is the right environment to have such kind of awards. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to think that MTV gets this message. Please go on Twitter, wherever you come from. Go on Twitter and tell them we are boycotting this event. Please boycott the event if it takes place in Uganda. Please make sure that your message is loud. Go there on their Twitter. Tweet those images. Tweet those videos on MTV Base. Their Twitter handle is MTV Base Africa. Tweet those images. Write to them. If you have any links or any contact to any of these musicians that have been nominated, write to them and tell them that if at all you take part in the event in Uganda, we are not with you. Please at least advocate for the event to be hosted somewhere else, not Uganda, because the government of Uganda is anti-music. The government of Uganda is anti-creativity. The government of Uganda is anti-performing arts. That's what we are. None. We do not accept any of that stuff in Uganda. That's what the government has done. And then you're bringing Mama Awards, that they are boosting tourism. It's not even here to boost music. It is here to boost that so-called tourism. What you do here is actually supporting the dictator and empowering him and giving him more money. So those are my 2 cents for today. And I hope that this message reaches as far as it can. And I also hope it reaches MTV Africa and all these other guys. Because they need to know what is going on in Africa. People are being killed. People are being murdered for just holding Bobby Wine's picture. That's what pains me. For just listening to his music. For just singing with him. And these sort of people have any sort of humanity in them? You picture that in your hands. I mean, they come, they arrest you, they take your mother away, they take your father away, they take the breadwinner away. Mike Kalinda was, his eyes gouged out, and so on and so forth. Okay, thank you very much, guys, and don't forget to share and subscribe, and I will be keeping you updated here and there, and so on and so forth. Thank you.